Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your English grammar class. Today we are going to start another topic, that is active and passive voice. In most sentences, the subject performs the action denoted by the verb. For example, they watched a film. Here, the action is done by them, that is, watching a film. When the subject does the action in a sentence, the sentence is said to be in the active voice. Now let us read the same sentence with a change in the word order. A film was watched by them. Here, the subject is acted upon in the sentence and hence it is said to be in the passive voice. In sentences in the active voice, the doer of the action is the subject of the sentence and the receiver of the action is the object. For example, birds build nest. Here, the action of building is done by the birds, so they are the subject, and they are building nests, so they are the object. To make sentences in the passive voice, we make some changes. The first change is to move the object of the sentence in the active voice to the subject position. For example, nests are built by birds. Here, the action is still done by birds only, but the object has become the subject and the subject has become the object in this sentence. Second is, we use the appropriate be verb according to the tense of the active voice. For example, nests are built by birds. Since the sentence birds build nest is in present tense, the change of active to passive is also done with the present tense be form, that is are. Third is, we use the perfect participle of the main verb. Birds build nest. Here the main verb is build. So the passive voice will be nests are built by birds. We need to note well that the object of a verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. So, only transitive words can be used in the passive voice because an intransitive verb has no object. And when the verb is changed from the active to the passive voice, the object of the transitive verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice, and the subject is placed at the end with the preposition by. Birds build nest has become nests are built by birds. When we change a sentence from active to passive voice, we need to take care of certain points. We need to follow the given structure. Let us learn about that. If the sentence is in simple present, the passive voice will have the object plus is plus the third form of the verb plus the preposition by, and then it will end with the subject. For example, Pratima writes a letter is the active sentence in simple present. The passive sentence, passive voice will be a letter is written by Pratima. For present continuous, the passive voice will have object plus is plus being plus the third form of the verb plus the preposition by and the subject. The present continuous active sentence is Pratima is writing a letter, and the passive voice will be a letter is being written by Pratima. For present perfect, the passive voice structure will be object plus has been plus verb in the third form plus preposition by plus the subject of the sentence. For example, the active voice is Pratima has written a letter. The passive voice for present perfect will be a letter has been written by Pratima. For simple past, the passive voice will be object plus was plus verb in the third form plus by plus the subject. The active voice sentence for simple past will be Pratima wrote a letter, and the passive voice for the same sentence will be a letter was written by Pratima. For past continuous, the structure for passive voice will be object plus was plus being plus verb in the third form plus preposition by plus the subject. For active voice, the sentence in past continuous will be Pratima was writing a letter, and the same sentence will be written in passive voice as a letter was being written by Pratima. For past perfect, the structure for passive voice will be object plus had been plus verb in the third form plus preposition by plus the subject. For active voice in past perfect, the example is Pratima had written a letter. The passive voice will be a letter had been written by Pratima. For simple future, the structure will be object plus will be plus verb in the third form plus preposition plus the subject. The active voice for simple future will be example Pratima will write a letter, and the same sentence will be written in passive voice as a letter will be written by Pratima. Simple future with the going to form, the structure will be object plus is plus going to plus be plus the third form of the verb plus preposition by plus the subject. So the sentence, for example, active voice simple future will be Pratima is going to write a letter. The same sentence can be written in passive as a letter is going to be written by Pratima. For future perfect, the passive voice structure is object plus will plus have been plus verb in the third form plus preposition by plus the subject. So the example for future perfect in active voice will be Pratima will have written a letter, and the same sentence in passive voice can be written as a letter will have been written by Pratima. The structure to write assertive sentences from active voice to passive voice is the object plus is, am, are plus the verb in the third form plus preposition by, and then the pronoun is written. For example, if the sentence in active voice is I write a diary, the sentence will be written in passive voice as a diary is written by me. Please note how the I has been changed into me. Let us take another example. If the active voice sentence is I help you, then the sentence in the passive voice will become you are helped by me. In both the sentences, the verb is according to the object. When we are changing the negative sentence from active voice to passive voice, the structure will be the object plus is, am, are plus not plus verb in the third form plus the preposition by plus the subject according to the sentence. For example, if the sentence in active voice is I do not write a diary, the passive voice sentence will be a diary is not written by me. Another example, I do not write poems. Then the passive voice sentence would be poems are not written by me. We need to take care of the auxiliary verb depending on the object in the passive voice. When we change interrogative sentences into passive voice, the structure will remain as is, am, or are plus the object plus the verb in the third form plus preposition by, and then we will add the subject followed by the question mark. If the sentence in active voice is do you write a diary, the sentence in passive voice will be is a diary written by you. That will be all for today's class, and I'll see you on the next turn. Till then, stay safe and keep learning.